Hello, this is Alex from the Advent Label Applicator Company, and what we're going to be doing is a changeover video. So right now we have the Advent 300 set up for this smaller diameter container. And what we're going to, and let me just go ahead and show you that. So the machine's on, we orient the container, we insert it, and you can see the label goes on very, very nicely. Go ahead and run that. And we have the roller set up in such a way that the changeover is going to be very, very straightforward. We're actually not going to have to move any of the supporting white tires. The only thing will be feeding the labels and adjusting for the larger diameter and then adjusting your product guides. So we're going to go ahead and do that changeover. So I'm doing a mid-roll change here. Right here we have our waste material. That's what's pulling up the waste material. And just like changing a roll of toilet paper, it's spring loaded, you pop it out. And then what I like to do is I like to keep some of the liner material, because when I reuse these roll of labels, I could not waste as many labels for the tracking. So you can see I've just torn it off and I reinsert the rewind. It only goes in one direction. The white cap right here, or spring-loaded plunger, goes on one side, and then it clicks into place on this rewind clutch. And you can see we have those little metal pins that lock it into place. All right. Then I release the brake arm spring. That kind of takes off the tension on this white strap, which is your braking strap. So we remove that, and then we can move the manual very, very easily. So I'm just pulling up the roll of labels, and then this is spring loaded. Just spring it out, and then I can remove my guide. And usually on a small roll of labels like this, it's hard to get your fingers on this. So I like to take the other guide and I just push off the roll of labels. Okay. Then I'm going to grab my roll of labels. You want the front of the labels, the leading edge, to go towards the front of the machine. Excuse me. And then you want to make sure, this is the essential part, you want to make sure that the core of the labels bites into one of these clips. So you can see it's very, very loose right now. And if the roll of labels is loose, it's going to defeat the braking system. You'll get more than one label to be fed on. So when you move it, the rule of thumb is to move it towards the center of the roller and onto one of these clips. One of these clips will lock in the core and make it one piece. You can see I have about 4 clips on there. So I'm just getting it on there. Oops. So again, you want to make sure it's locked into place. Put your guide on there, and you're pretty much ready to go. So again, the front of the labels is going towards, the leading edge is going towards the front of the machine. I put the side in with the white strap first. I push out the wing, and then I'm ready to go. You can see the axles in the hole, and it moves nice and freely. Okay, now we go under the brake arm. This is the swing arm. Goes under. And then towards the front of the machine. And ideally, you want to have the labels fed in the same place, because then you don't have to move the white tires. The white tires, the rule of thumb is for them to have the match the width of the label. So I'm going underneath this roller here that has the web guides. And you can see the fit's a little tight here. So I'm going to open up my carriage right here. So I'm turning the cradle adjustment knob. And that just allows me to get my finger in here and pull the labels through. And while you're feeding the labels in the machine, you might want to move these web guides out a little bit, so you're just not interfering with them. And then what I'm going to do now is take out the peel bar. This peel bar has the Teflon tape on there. Always want to make sure that the Teflon tape stays there. We also have an adjustable peel bar here with 2 set screws on them. And what we're doing on this particular container is we're threading about 2 threads on this side towards the camera, the left side, and that's just tilting the peel bar a little bit higher on this side to compensate for your taper. It's going to work perfectly for both labels, so you really don't have to adjust this again. So I just want to point it out. That's the adjustment. If you want to fine tune it, you could take your Allen wrench tool and then thread it down to make it tilt more on one side or the other. Okay, so you take your roll of labels, you put your peel bar back into place. There's 2 notches, falls into place. It's nice and even across with the sharp edge facing the white tires. So you can see there, you don't want it up on one side or tilted. It should be nice and even across. And you can always tell if it moves slightly left and right. I like to do is make a point here with the liner material, and then we're going to insert the labels through this 4-inch drive roller and this 8-inch pinch roller. This is the heart of the machine. This is what pulls the labels through the machine. I turn it on and it will immediately grab it, the liner, and then deflect it towards the back of the machine. And then I can peel that label, get it started. And you want to peel another label. And then you go to the rewind. You can move it, find the slit, and then wrap it around at least twice. Okay? And then what's very important is to reattach the brake arm spring. A lot of people forget to reattach it. If you were to forget to reattach it, you'll turn on the machine and labels might start coming out automatically. So you want to reattach the spring. That puts the brake arm strap into play. So now this will not move until the roll of label or the machine gets a signal to feed the labels through the machine. Now overhead pressure arm, I'm just holding it. See here, pressing down the trigger. It looks like we might have to readjust the trigger, so I'm going to go ahead and do that. So I'm going to pause right here.